The uncertainty of reserve is truly giving me anxiety. In today's video, we are gonna talk all about my May schedule, but first, let's do a recap of my April schedule, okay? Before we get started, go ahead and like the video because you know it's gonna be good, and subscribe to the Pristine Posse if you haven't already done so. Now, April is a time where people are traveling, there are spring breaks, there are sports tournaments, and just a bunch of other events that are going on that may result in having very packed flights. Now, my goal was to be on AM shift, and as I was told from the other flight attendants, they said put yourself on AM shift and you won't be called as much these days. So I went with it, right? Now the good news, surprisingly, for Easter weekend, I was on reserve and I did not get called all weekend. So that's a plus. People felt like working that day. And the weather was so nice. I just knew I was gonna get called. Did not get called. So that's a win, that's a W. Then there was a day where I had a 3-day bucket and they called me at 4:45 p.m. when my reserve shift ends at 5. Trust me, if crew support needs you, they will call you up to that last minute. I've gotten calls at 8:59 when I was on PM shift, so please don't think you're off the hook. I thought I was off the hook. They called me at 4:45. They said, hey, we need you for a stand-up. Now, I did not know that when you're on AM shift, there's still a possibility that you'll get a stand-up. I was thinking in my mind that I would be so high on the seniority list that by the time someone calls out for a stand-up, it should be past 5 o'clock, but that day it wasn't. So I go on that stand-up. It actually was deadhead to the stand-up location and then work the trip back. So I didn't even have to work on the way there. So that was pretty nice. Now the only drawback was that the shuttle ride was literally 30 minutes. So because it's a stand-up and we had very minimal rest, we had to get up the next day and report to the shuttle at like 4:30. So that was very early, but come back, I wasn't on ready reserve, so that was great. Called that a day. The next day I was off. Personally, I'm a stand-up girl. If I have to work, give me a stand-up or a local. I like those. I like to come back home. So I didn't really have any complaints. I was just like, you know what? It's fine with me. Now here's the kicker. The following week, I had a 5-day bucket. So I was like, ooh, I don't know what's gonna happen. First day, I did not get called. I got an email at like 11:30 at night that said, hey, we're gonna need you to come in to work an 8 a.m. flight, and then you'll be done at 12, and then we'll put you on reserve from 12 to 3. So I said, okay, cool. So I go to work, I work that turn. I think we went to like Santa Fe and back. So the plane was delayed a little bit on the way coming back from Santa Fe, so we actually didn't get there until about maybe 2 o'clock. So now my window is from 2 to 3. So I'm thinking, okay, it's literally an hour. I don't think they're gonna call me, but I'm gonna just get something to eat. I'm going to do my job and stay at the airport like I'm supposed to instead of trying to just leave early. So I stay at the airport, I'm in the line getting some food, and guess what? Crew support calls me. Crew support calls me and says, hey, we put a 4-day on your trip. A 4-day. What? I get off the phone with crew support and I'm literally dumbfounded because 1, I didn't even get to order food because I was standing in the line. 2, I didn't think they were gonna call me, so I did not bring any lunch, and I definitely did not bring any food for 4 days, okay? I literally had in my suitcase toiletries, a makeup bag, 1 outfit, and pajamas and underwear, that's it. Not 4 days worth of supplies. And I'm just like, what in the world? Mind you, this has never happened before. I've had a time where I was on ready reserve and they gave me an overnight and I came back the next day. I've also never been on ready reserve where I've had 4 days left of my bucket, and I should have known better. I actually should have my food and all that stuff, which is why I'm telling you, if you have more days in your bucket, please bring your food just in case, pack just in case, and bring your jacket. Because my 4-day was going to Mexico the first night, second night was gonna be Indiana, and then the third night was gonna be Colorado, I believe. Indiana is cold, and I did not have a jacket. I didn't have a cardigan. I didn't have anything. Also, crew support asked me, can I hurry up and go to the gate as soon as possible? And I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a second, but I'll get there. On my way over there, a random man is like, hey, are you the flight attendant working the flight to Mexico? So I'm just like, yeah. And he's like, oh, we're waiting on you. How are you waiting on me? And I literally just got assigned this trip. So basically, the gate agent made an announcement and let them all know that they're waiting on a flight attendant. So I guess they thought that I was the one that was late or last minute the whole time. And I'm like, I just got assigned this trip, and apparently whatever was going on prior made the flight attendant not able to show up, so then they had to call me, and now I'm showing up. So it was delayed, but now all these passengers are thinking that I'm the one that was taking my sweet time, and I'm just like, no, I'm on ready reserve. Like, I didn't know that I was gonna get this trip, none of that. Okay, fast forward, we get to Mexico, I finally get some food, and they have really, really, really good octopus at this one restaurant that's close by the hotel. So I literally go there every time I'm in Mexico. I go there, and honestly, even though my day was so crazy and a quick local turned into a 4-day and I'm unprepared, I didn't have the food, yada, 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 I was just like, girl, you're spending your Friday in Mexico eating some good octopus and some ceviche. What's really the issue? Honestly, after I got my food, the attitude just evaporated, and I was like, it's fine. You're fine. You're good. And also, thankfully, all the passengers were super sweet and nice. I was working in first class, and all the passengers were really sweet. No one asked me why was I late, or no one had an attitude, so that was perfect. And first class was super easy because literally I had probably 5 people and all of them fell asleep, so that was great. And the one person who was up didn't even want anything, like no water, no nothing, so I was like, fine with me. Of course, I went by and checked on them. Anytime people are asleep in first class, I always check to see if they wake up, because some people are just afraid of pressing the call button. So if I see their eyes crack open, I'm like, you want anything? Because don't be trying to write a little review like the flight attendant never gave me any food or drink. Like, you were asleep. You were asleep. So the minute I see their eyes crack open, I'm like, hey, anything to drink? Sometimes they don't want anything to drink, but other times people will crack their eyes open and I'll ask them, do they want anything to drink? And they're like, yeah, let me get Woodford on the rocks. That's the first thing you want to drink as soon as you open your eyes? Okay, coming right up. Like, anyways, back to Mexico. So I enjoyed the rest of my night, and then we had like a 5 a.m. report time, so I went to bed early. I'm not really excited to go to Indiana because I don't have a jacket or a cardigan, so it's gonna be very cold on the plane and extremely cold when we get there. On top of, I didn't pack food, so that means I would have to buy food again. Once we land to Dallas, the pilot asked me, oh, what are you gonna do after this? And I was like, I have to work. Like, I have to work. I have to go to Indiana. And then he was like, you do? That's weird, because on my end, it doesn't show anything. Because they get like, I don't know, kind of like a release of like what's next for us. And he said, I don't see anything for you. I actually see that the other flight attendant is going to Indiana. So I was like, oh no, like, I think you got it mixed up because I'm going to Indiana tonight. Y'all, I don't know what happened. I didn't ask any questions, anything like that. Long story short, the other flight attendant was supposed to be on ready reserve for like 4 hours, and I was supposed to be going to Indiana and have the rest of my 3-day the 3 days of my 4-day, right? Somehow, some way, she ended up getting the Indiana turn, and I got pulled off of a 3-day to get Ready Reserve. And I had Ready Reserve from, I believe it was 8 to 2:30. Now I know you're thinking like, sitting in the airport from 8 to 2:30, but compared to a 3-day and starting in Indiana with no jacket, no food, I think I'll sit in the airport. I will gladly sit in the airport and just hope I don't get called. And that's what I did. I sat in the airport from 8:30 to 2, and I did not get called. Y'all, I did not get called. So that was nice how that 4-day basically went to just an overnight to Mexico and then come back. That was the perfect day. But I'm not gonna lie, the uncertainty of that day, how I thought it was gonna be a local, then it turned to a 4-day, and then it turned back into a 2-day, and then I had to sit ready, then I had to wait. Like, that's the reserve life. Just sitting there, looking like a dummy, waiting until they call you, waiting until crew support releases you, just at their beck and call. You don't really know what's going on, nothing like that. So that is the reality of being on reserve. Another big plus is that the other 2 days of that 4-day, I did not get called. So that's 20 days out of the month that I actually did not work. 9 days where I was on call, but did not get called. So that means I need to be in Dallas, which is why I say the quality of the job really does depend on if you live in base, because the month of April, I'm gonna say 8.5 out of 10, because I had a lot of days to relax in Dallas. I was pretty much at home or doing things around my home, but it's so much better than commuting in, staying at a crash pad, paying for a crash pad, and being with those roommates, and whatever else happens inside of crash pads or hotels. You know, like being in the comfort of your own home and, you know, just waiting for your phone to ring, that's so much better. So if you guys can move, I always recommend just move to your base. You'll be a lot happier. You'll really enjoy the job. Now, I can't say 10 out of 10 because, you know, you gotta leave room for improvement. 10 out of 10 is if they didn't call me the whole month. That would be 10 out of 10, okay? That's the ultimate goal, to be on reserve and not get called at all. Honestly, I'll let them call me once. You can call me once out of a whole month. That would be perfect. And I'm gonna also give it an 8.5 because that local with Ready Reserve that turned to a 4-day, back to a 2-day, that was a bit insane. So 8.5 for the month of April. Being that in April, I was pretty much content with my schedule and I wasn't really getting called that much on AM shift, I just decided to keep it going. So for the month of May, I will also be on reserve AM shift once again, and I'll be off every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I just do the same thing all the way down because I don't have nothing else going on, and it's just better to get whatever I want when I just keep it uniform. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of every week. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully I, don't get called. I know this is a long one, but drop a unicorn emoji if you're still here with me. Also, May is a month of like graduation season, Mother's Day. Yeah, those are like the two big things. So it might get a little crazy, but hopefully it's after my reserve shift and I don't have to work it. So I will definitely keep you guys posted on how the May schedule comes out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.